Hi, I'm Jim Brett, President and CEO of the New England Council. Thanks for tuning in to this month's episode of Inside the Corner Office, where we connect with the leaders of some of our region's most well-respected businesses and organizations to learn more about their career paths and about the institutions they lead. This month, I had the opportunity to catch up with Chris Pyne, Executive Vice President, Group Benefits at Unum, an insurance company with strong roots here in New England. Chris himself has enjoyed a very long career with Unum and will tell us more about the array of services the company provides both here in New England and across the country. We'll also talk about how the company is leveraging AI and other technologies to better support customers. Chris, it's great to see you today.
Hi. Thanks, Jim. Great to be with you.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to join me today. You know, we always begin because our audience loves to hear more about how leaders in the business community have gotten to where they are. And so let's start there. You have been with Unum your entire professional career. Tell us more about your career path over the past 25 years.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I was lucky enough to find Unum and vice versa, just coming out of college, and I got into our sales training program. So what a great way to learn the business and the market, to be out primarily in the Boston area at the time, back in 1992, and meeting the brokers and consultants that control the employee benefit market, and making benefits come alive for companies, small, medium, and large. I ran kind of in sales and had different regional and national sales leadership roles throughout my career, and then broadened out to do more around leading the strategy and risk side of the business to ultimately be responsible for group benefits across the U.S. for the Unum brand.
So what initially sparked your interest in working in the insurance industry?
Yeah, it was. I found my way to Unum, a super strong, Maine-based company. I went to college in Maine, and we had a nice tradition of people who were, I would say, ready to get out in the working world. So, lots of my friends wanted to go to medical school or law school, and I was ready to get after, something in the working world, to stretch my legs and see what I could do. Out in what I would have called the real world at the time. And sales was a great way to do that. And Unum had a long tradition of saying, hey, you don't know the employee benefit business, but we'll train you. We'll teach you what makes companies work really well when they have strong benefit packages behind them, help those companies perform really well, and give great protection to people who need it. One of the things maybe we'll chat more about is the fact that people don't really understand employee benefits.
Right.
And with the protections they provide. And, for me, the company seemed to have great purpose. They were committed to training, and I was ready to go to work. So next thing you know, insurance became my passion. I will admit, in college, I didn't dream of being an insurance professional, but it found me and I found it.
Yeah, because you majored in what, political science and government?
Yeah, that's right. Government, and had some economics background. And, funny thing is, those things really do play into the insurance world. And like any financial services company, you need to be well run. You need to have a good business sense. And again, I had the good fortune to find Unum many years ago.
Yeah. So how does that extensive history with the company shape the way you approach your leadership there, as opposed to someone who may be coming into an executive role, but from outside the organization?
Yeah, great question, Jim, because, in the insurance business, particularly, some of the important coverages that Unum provides, there is a long-term mindset that has to be in place. We provide coverage to people sometimes for, serious condition type programs like long-term disability or executive disability, where somebody might be on claim with us for 10, 20, 30 years. And if you don't have a long-term mindset in terms of what the company's trying to do, how we're trying to do it, and you take shortcuts in the insurance business, you will find trouble fast. So that's always been in my DNA because of starting with a company that we're 177 years old now, I guess. So we're not new to this. And we're going to be around for another 177 years as far as I'm concerned. And to do that, you've got to be really smart. You've got to be willing to make long-term investments. What's exciting is you also have to stay current. Because what worked in the past, even if the fundamental protections, life insurance, disability insurance, covering gaps in medical, they may be similar. How they're delivered and how you bring them to life for customers, that changes dramatically. And obviously, we're in a technology revolution right now. And as an insurance organization, employee benefits organization, I can tell you we operate a lot more like a tech company than you naturally believe. And that's been a really exciting part of our success over the recent decade.
It says a lot about a company when its employees stay so long. And I understand it's not uncommon where you are at Unum. What is it about the company that has kept you there all these years?
Yeah, I next week I'll send the person on my team who leads sales for Unum in the U.S. is going to be retiring after 43 years.
Wow.
So that's pretty amazing that my good friend John Stabile will be retiring after 43 years, and I can look back at a gentleman who just grabbed every opportunity and kept doing more and more and more. And he's as inspired today as he was the day he started back in the early 80s. I am extremely grateful for the fact that Unum always seemed to match, my willingness to try new and different things, whether it was moving, to different parts of the country, taking on new roles, expanding accountability, learning new things. They always seem to have some sort of a growth opportunity and a willingness to take a chance on somebody who was, developing and give them a little bit more runway to grow and learn. And we see examples of that all over our company today. I love it when somebody will, take a chance and, move to our Atlanta office to run, that marketplace, or to move from, products and claims over to, a technology role, so that we're getting that cross-pollination, but they're also developing and growing. We're over 10,000 employees here at Unum. There's lots of places you can go, and if you have your eyes open and you're networking well, opportunities seem to find those that are interested, and that's been my good fortune over several decades.
Well, most people are familiar with Unum as an insurance company, but for those who are less familiar, give us an overview of the types of insurance services that Unum offers.
Yeah, Jim. So we deal with companies from 2 employees. Our smallest groups are 2 employees, all the way up to companies that have hundreds of thousands of employees. And the way we work with them is really, if you think about it broadly, it's in the, you make your big medical decision. We don't sell medical insurance, and you make your big retirement decision, and then we kind of operate in everything else. And so we'll wrap around, and the needs of companies, big and small, are very different. But people need financial protection products, and think about those as life insurance, disability, dental insurance, things that fill in gaps around medical insurance, whether it's a critical illness type product or a hospital indemnity type product. They wrap those products really well, and then services that become very important, like how do you take care of employees when they need to be out of work, for something like caring for a family member, or some other reason why they need to be absent, taking advantage of old legislation like Family Medical Leave Act, or newer legislation like is happening in the state of Massachusetts a couple years ago, and Maine coming up this year, where paid Family Medical Leave Acts are being put into place. So we administer those for employers, because those get very confusing. But at the same time, we're providing robust financial protection behind the scenes for the employees of companies large and small.
I read that the company is currently headquarters in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but I understand when it was founded 177 years ago, it was in New England. In fact, where you are now in Maine. So tell us a little more about the Unum history, as well as that footprint here in New England.
You have done your homework, Jim. I commend you. That's yes.
Thank you.
Our CEO, my boss of Unum Group, sits in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Ironically, he is a Maine native, so he's certainly loyal to both locations.
Yeah.
So he sits in Unum. Unum Group is made up of 3 brands: Unum, the company that I described first, which operates in the U.S., Colonial Life, which is a voluntary benefits specialty company that does a great work across the country, and then Unum International, primarily the UK and Poland. The 177-year-old history was Unum did start in New England, but ultimately Unum was made up of the combination of the old Paul Revere companies, which was a Massachusetts-based company out of Worcester, Mass.,
Yeah.
Provident, which was a Chattanooga-based company, and then Unum, which was the Portland, Maine. We chose the Unum name as the overall kind of Unum Group header. And again, the combination of those three companies, and that's kind of 20 plus years ago now. The combination of those three companies really established us as the true leader in that kind of non-medical, non-retirement space, where we take care of lots of other things, and again, use technology to enable a really people-led business, because empathy and connectivity is so important. But we use technology to do that. We can think about delivering products in a tech-forward way, but also understanding sometimes the employee is paying for it, sometimes the employer, sometimes a little bit of both. And we want to be able to kind of meet the needs of the employer and the employees where they are, so they can get the financial protection products they need and help their companies thrive.
Unum has been recognized for innovation in the insurance industry. Tell us a little more about how the company leverages technology to better support your customers.
Our commitment to technology, which again is not a new thing, but it is something we really put additional dollars toward and resources, has really been a differentiator for us. I think back to maybe one or two quick examples. What became really obvious to us about a decade and a half ago was that employers were relying more and more on their HRIS systems to really run their program. So their people data was sitting in one place. How they kind of manage those people and how they wanted to kind of interact and keep track of trends and understand information sat with their HRIS systems. So while it's really important that you have great contracts, great pricing on the insurance side, it became equally important that you were connecting into the tech environments that employers were choosing to run their businesses. So we spent as much time thinking about the technical linkages, so that we were trading information with the HRIS platforms that employers use to run their company. If somebody updated a salary, we knew about it. If somebody terminated an employee, we knew that as well, and we were able to kind of make those adjustments. There's lots of dynamics happening with employee populations all the time: life events, ads, terminations, whatever it might be. And suddenly, instead of it being a laborious administrative process, our products were being updated instantaneously because we had made the technical connections with the platforms. And that was a strategic, intentional strategic choice that has turned out to be a huge advantage.
And how long ago did you do that?
So the work started about I would say 10 years ago, where we really started to focus on it. Then we had an interesting moment when COVID hit. And we had to make a decision to say, geez, do we keep investing or do we slow it down? And things were pretty uncertain, as we all recall. What became really big during COVID, of course, was the fact that people were working in all sorts of different situations. Technology, even the type of technology we're using today to communicate over video, became that much more important. The tech connections became, really mission critical. And so those investments, we doubled down during COVID, and that proved to be a really important decision. So I'm thrilled about it. And, what's exciting about that type of technology, and you talk about AI and different things that you can add into that world, is the runway continues. So when you're on that path and you're having success with it, and you can show employers, we understand you, we understand the platforms that are important to you, and we've made our products really easy to work in those environments, it becomes really limitless in terms of the ideas that you can start to add into the mix to make their lives easier and help their employees appreciate the benefits that they provide that much more. So we're on a great path there.
Oh, that's great. You just mentioned AI. Not a day goes by without the headline about AI and how it's impacting both businesses and people's daily lives. I know that the insurance industry is no exception. So can you speak to how Unum is looking at the use of AI and how you strike a balance between taking advantage of this marvelous, incredible technology, but also maintaining that human touch that customers appreciate?
Jim, people are at the heart of what we do. Empathy is so important in the insurance world. When you think about what we do and the fact that people might be in a really tough situation, they might have had a serious loss, they might have real worries about what their future looks like. To take people out of that would be a huge mistake. That said, enabling our people to be really well informed with what is the best next step to take, because we have built our processes and our systems so we can feed the right information at the right time, help them have the right information at their fingertips. We do a lot of that behind the scenes with technology, AI being part of that. There are lots of rules, there are a lot of regulations. How do you keep it all straight? Well, technology and process can help you really do that well. AI has been a bit of a game changer. There are humans in the loop. Anytime we're making a claim decision, there's always a human who actually signs off on the claim. But setting up a claim file, sorting through thousands of pages of medical documents, doing different things that make the administrative elements easier is just a huge advantage and brings down costs, while at the same time improving customer satisfaction, never replacing the empathetic touch of a person. And the other element that we're very serious about, tremendous governance over how AI is deployed inside of our company. So we're very careful to make sure that it is working the way we intend, in compliance with not only our contracts but also regulations across the industry.
Paid family and medical leave have been a front burner at both the state and the federal level in recent years. Well, we've seen some states take action to establish paid leave policies. There hasn't been much progress on the federal level. So can you explain how Unum works with the states that do offer paid leave?
Yeah, Jim, we're extremely active with the paid family medical leave kind of world. And you're absolutely right. Certain states have taken a very progressive, forward-leaning kind of stance on the topic. And if you it's wonderful that people want to provide their employees and the covered workers in their states with flexibility when things happen. Sick child, sick parent, bonding with a new child, whether for both parents, doing work that's just required. Where if you are not paid, or you're not provided that job protection, you just can't make that choice. So, states who have advanced that work are generally doing it with very good intentions. Sometimes the administration, though, can become really complicated. And so we've been active with our government affairs teams to be, whether it be Colorado or Delaware, Minnesota, Maine coming up in the spring here, Massachusetts a couple of years ago, to work with the states to describe what works well and what doesn't. If you want to extend the coverage, one of the things that becomes really important there is that employers have an option to go with a private plan that lives up to the regulations that the state intends, so that we can keep that connected to the rest of the benefits package. We've been in the short-term disability business for sick employees for years and years. We play off of that to expand the coverage for paid family medical leave events. We're now able to give a seamless kind of program for employers who want to use our private plan option to kind of round out their package and again, live up to the requirements. Generally speaking, the state will have an option as well, and people can get their cover there. But that's been kind of the balance we've tried to strike, to say we're experts. Private options are good for choice, keeps it competitive, and also provides that seamless experience for employers and their employees who are very intentional about what they intend employees to experience when they're in some sort of a paid family medical leave situation.
What would you like to see happen at the federal level on this issue?
Well, a few years back, I might have said, geez, if we can do it at the federal level, that would make life easier, regardless of what state your employee lives, works. Where you move somebody in terms of a transfer, they're all going to have the same. We've stopped kind of focusing on that as a likely outcome for a few reasons. One, all states don't see it the same, so there's some pretty strong resistance in some areas, and it's probably not at the top of the agenda at the federal level right now. And then two, states that have actually enacted their programs are pretty proud of them. And so they wouldn't want to go to a uniform federal program. So I think we're going to live in a reality of some complexity between states. If you live in Connecticut and work in Rhode Island, you're going to have two different kind of programs, and employers need to know. We take that burden off of the employer and say, we understand how the laws work together. We understand how they operate. We can take that off your plate, give the employees the experience they need, and let you focus on running your company, which is what we love to do, helping the working world thrive, regardless of life's moments.
Well, Chris, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time to join me today to share a little bit more about yourself, but more importantly about Unum. We're proud, needless to say, to have Unum as part of the New England Council family. And for those of you who are tuning in, I hope you enjoy the conversation. But please be sure to tune in next month when our guest will be Alexis Steele, who is the president of St. Mary's Center for Women and Children.